It's a great day for baseball from Bradenton, Florida. Pirates Spring Training Baseball is brought to you by McDonald's. Come on in to McKechnie Field where the sun is shining and the fans are filing in as the Pirates are going to play host to the Baltimore Orioles. Hi and welcome into the booth. Joe Block along with Steve Blass, and this afternoon another game where we're getting a little bit closer now to the end of things here in spring training, and the Pirates no exception, with Jeff Locke getting the start today, starting to fine-tune, but also starting to wonder if Locke can continue on improving what he's worked on this spring training.
Yeah, once again, it's not a lock for Jeff to make the rotation coming out of Florida, but he has done that several times successfully. So he'll make his fifth appearance, and he's been working on something that is quite an abrupt change in terms of his windup and his motion. We'll get into that in detail a little bit longer, but he's been bounced around a little bit, and it's becoming a story about the bottom end of the starting rotation because of Juan Nicasio. He's been spectacular. He has really been kind of the emerging story of spring training for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but make no bones about it, today the story is all about Jeff Locke.
Yeah, a little competition, never bad in spring training, of course, and so Jeff Locke trying to build on what has been primarily a strong spring so far, and he's going to have pretty much the opening day lineup behind him too. The number 2 hitter, Andrew McCutchen, with his 4 spring home runs in there today. Pirates and Orioles coming up next here on Root Sports. Ready for baseball here as the Pirates take the field. Beautiful sunshiny day here at McKechnie Field.
And a beautiful look at our new third baseman too.
Yes.
David Freese.
And a look at Jeff Locke's UPMC numbers from last season.
8-11, 449, 30 starts for Jeff. So you kind of know what you have with Jeff Locke. He's been around a while. He was an all-star 3 years ago. And so as he competes to maintain his starting rotation role we'll watch him this afternoon. Appearance number 5 in the spring for Jeff.
Working to Joey Rickard to lead it off for Baltimore.
First 4 appearances for Jeff Locke. 2 not so good at all, 1 medium and 1 quite good. You saw him here against the Phillies where he looked like Jeff Locke was doing exactly what he wanted to be doing.
And a flare into right starts off this one, a base hit for Rickard. Well, we'll see with Jeff Locke today, and Orioles bringing fewer regulars down here this afternoon, and among them Chris Davis. And Davis asking into the lineup today in order to face the left-hander, trying to get some ABs against the lefty. Well, Giannis, the ex-Red, in camp with the Orioles as well in that starting lineup. There's Dario Alvarez. This might be a double play ball. And they get 2, a double play. And just like that, Jeff Locke erases that leadoff single.
Pitcher's best friend, ground ball to shortstop Jordy Mercer, 6'4", See, the delivery is upstairs, but in on the handle a little bit as the batter Alvarez kind of tied himself up. That was a hittable pitch, but got too close to it. Easy ground ball to short.
Well, you like having this guy up with the bases empty, don't you?
Yeah, that's second only to not having him up at all.
Chris Davis. And as I just mentioned, you know, I was asking Buck Showalter today, you know, a lot of the veterans don't like to come down and travel, even though it's a
10
short
miles.
trip.
Yeah, it's like going to the grocery store.
Especially out here, yeah.
You can't call it a trip. This is like a home and home on the same day.
Wanted to get some work against the lefty Locke.
And one of the things, I talked to Jeff before the ball game, you might see him throw some curveballs that have a little less speed. He's trying to separate speed with his curveball and not have everything kind of look so much in the same type of a pattern. So you might see some good-looking slow curves, hopefully, like that.
And he freezes Davis.
Right on cue.
A tidy inning for Jeff Locke. 1 hit, no one left, and the Pirates coming to bat. No score. Orioles turned aside in the top half of the first. John Jaso leading it off, and between innings, a little confab after that great inning from Locke.
Well, that's what you like to see, whether it's spring training or regular season. If you see something as a catcher, go over and talk to your pitching coach, and then you'll decide if you want to go over and talk with your pitcher. Sometimes you go to the pitcher first, but nothing wrong with that. That's good stuff.
Here's our RAV4 lineup, and this might be the opening day lineup, 1 through 8. John Jaso, Andrew McCutchen, the new 1-2 hitters, it looks like. David Freese in there until Jung Ho Gong gets back. And Starling Marte having a fantastic spring training. Might be the cleanup hitter. And getting that on-base guy, Cervelli at number 5 in the order. Be talking about that today. The lineup's been a hot topic of conversation. Jaso on the first pitch will fly out to Joey Rickard.
Do we have an early indication of early pitch swinging? We've had a lot of first pitch swung out already.
Well, maybe trying to jump on Miguel Gonzalez today.
Yeah, not Gio, Miguel Gonzalez, who last year won 9 games. So well, he won one more than his mound opponent, Jeff Locke, from Guadalajara, Mexico.
And our Barrel League leaders. And look at Andrew McCutchen getting on base with the very best of them last year. That's a heck of a bunch.
Not unusual to see him on some of those charts.
And that 400 on base percentage, he's been doing that every year. The last 4 years, he's hit that milestone. No one else in baseball has done that more than twice in those 4 years. 2-0 now. And the reason we talk about on base percentage is we're finding out the Pirates are really valuing that as they've kind of mixed up their lineup a bit. And take it a strike.
Well, you know, you first of all, let's start with the fact they've got a hole to fill. They lost 50 home runs from last year, so you got to get creative, and you're going to have to put more solid at bat innings or innings at bats. Stuff up the base paths, get people on base. That's how it all gets started. If you can't hit the ball over the fence on a regular basis, you've got to do a lot of that.
Yeah, avoiding outs and keeping the line moving. 2-2. Getting in a good count here, and
Gonzalez trying to keep the ball away from Andrew and his power. And there is power that Andrew has, and it's going to be added to by a strong wind out to left field. So open balls in that direction.
It's headed that way, and Andrew McCutchen's got his 5th home run of the spring.
Well, I told you he's got enough power. We told you the wind's blowing out. Here comes Andrew. And he is on fire. On fire. What, 5 home runs in the last 6 games, 7 games, something like that?
That's a heck of a week.
That'll add on to your on-base percentage. He was able to touch them all.
5 home runs in 7 games, and
a lot of power for a number 2 guy in the lineup.
Yeah. Well, he worked it full.
Oh, he got something out over the plate, got it up in the air, and that's going to be an early indicator that this ball is well out of here, and it was well out.
Now David Freese. Now this isn't your normal just over the wall job.
Yeah,
either.
This is left center. Maybe out in the parking lot, perhaps. No, well up into the crowd.
No one clipped Freese. A little bit of a bumpy start for Gonzalez, and Andrew McCutchen keeps on rolling. You know, and Clint Hurdle, had to do a little convincing, not only with McCutchen but with himself, with this kind of new lineup structure. Hurdle was saying that, all the guys that he's ever known in all of his years in baseball, the big guys hit number 3 and maybe number 4 like Marte, but analytics folks talking about how the number 2 spot is even more important.
Well, the thing is, if you make this change, and it's a substantial change, what you love to see is early success with it. So, okay. We don't get buried with something. We don't know how it's going to play out. So it's nice to get this kind of start when he makes that kind of move. We'll see how it plays out. But it's a feel-good situation when you do something fairly dramatic and it works, at least initially.
Yeah, and for Clint Hurdle, it's not just, say, putting McCutchen second, but really all the different pieces in the lineup trying to maximize where they're at their best. And Marte has been good in the times that he's been in this role, the cleanup spot.
Well, I look at this lineup today and every line as being an evolving process. There's going to be changes, adjustments, tweaks.
Hit well to center, but enough for Rickard to get underneath it.
Very seldom do you see 8 guys batting the same order day after day, month after month. Leo DeRocher tried it in 1969, but he played the same 8 guys every inning of every game, and by September they retired and the Mets caught him. I couldn't have been happier for Leo. And I'm not a big Mets fan. But yeah, you'll see adjustments and guys moving around. That's just the way it works during the course of 6 months.
Yeah, especially with all the rest now. The Pirates knowing to build in for guys throughout the year. There's another good on base guy with Cervelli. And he lines a base hit into left.
That's going to be fun for a while.
All the way to the wall. Freeze around third. He's coming home, and he's going to score. RBI double, Francisco Cervelli. It's 2-0 Pirates.
Nicely down into the corner. David Freese said, "You're going to hit me with a pitch? All right, I'm going to burn you." Probably saying to Rick Sofield, "Really? You want me to keep going?" But as you can see, Francisco hooks it down in the corner. They're playing him in left center field. So this takes a while to corral. It seemed like it took a little while for
Reimold was way off the line.
Yeah, and it took a while for Remo to get down there and get that ball back to the infield. Nicely done. You get a guy playing left center and you hook it down into the corner with 2 outs.
Reimold will be playing off the line again for a lefty hitter this time, with Gregory Polanco coming up. Rude grinning for Miguel Gonzalez. Freeze coming all the way around from first.
See, he can see what's going on at that point. Now he's got to rely on Rick Sofield, and Rick said, "Keep on trucking." That's a long trip around there for a veteran. David made it nicely.
Getting his wind going now that he's gotten off to a late start this spring.
Well, he had the wind with him from first to second, then he was on his own.
And snap throw back down to second. Cervelli barely back in.
Nice looking pickoff play by the Baltimore Orioles. Kind of catcher kind of trying to deke everybody into the fact that he was going to throw to the pitcher, but watch this now. Okay, he's got the ball in. And then the strong throw to second base.
Francisco Pena, not slated to be one of the 2 catchers on the roster to start, but has some big league time with Kansas City. Now 2-1.
They seem to have a guy named Matt Wieters, don't they?
Yeah, they're probably going to go with him.
He'll be okay. He's not here. Machado's not here, third baseman.
We got the backup, Caleb Joseph, the DH today. Backup catcher. 2-1. In again. Whether it's the fastball or the off-speed stuff, Gonzalez a little wobbly so far.
You see that Gregory's not going to lose his elbow guard. His name in big letters.
Whose is this? That's never a question asked. Big grip on 3-1 and makes it full.
Gregory looking to get on board with a home run or an RBI. Zeros in that category so far this spring.
Three-2 from Gonzalez. Cracked into center, but underneath it. And Rickard makes all 3 outs in the frame, but the Pirates scored twice. 2-0 Buccos. Open up with a 2-0 lead. Andrew McCutchen with his 5th home run of the spring. Double by Cervelli as well. Jeff Locke's got a little lead.
Take a look at the comparison, because this spring he's not turning his back as much to home plate. You can see on the left, you could see that whole back of his uniform. You could see the name spelled out, like a Louis Tiant or Johnny Cueto. And so it's a little tougher to keep track of that target, if you will. You're turning your back. You almost have to lose it and then find it. So he feels like it's a little more comfortable to stay with the target this year. Here's his stock and trade.
Strike to Francisco Pena.
And that when he's pitching well, he just flat out stays away from the middle of the strike zone. It's as simple as that. And that's kind of the case with a lot of pitchers. And the thing with the windup, that could have been called a strike, is that, yeah, the stuff you do before you release the ball and after are kind of details as to how you release the ball when you release it. That's when you're down to cases. So there are details there. And one of the reasons they did this, he's been knocked around the last couple of years. So they're trying something else. I think initially they tried to turn his back away from home plate for a little deception. You know, be a little quirkier with his windup.
Ray Surge has worked with him quite a bit. Lazy ground ball. Easy inning for Jeff Locke. The 1.5. Grilled meats time. It's 2-0 Pirates.
Yeah.
2-0 Pirates.
Thank you.
Now you can't see it, but between innings, he threw a couple wide ones, and then as soon as he knew the camera was on him, he was throwing all strikes. Like a guy that performs under pressure like that.
Good strike by Gonzalez.
Josh Harrison leading it off. The number 7 hitter today.
Yeah, you want to get down to a quiet motion, under control. There you go. Yeah, nice and contained. Yeah.
Harrison gets a base hit and maybe 2 on that curveball by Gonzalez, and another hustle double for Harrison this spring.
Three straight curveballs, and he takes this one down and away. Good looking pitch, really. Dumps it into short right center field as the wind's blowing the ball down and over. And typical Josh Harrison, he is ready to make the move to second base, and that's the key. See how good looking the pitch was? He sees the situation. Yep, okay, we're going.
Yeah, smart hitting.
Well, smart, and the guy kicked it. That's
Jordy Mercer with a flare into center. That's going to bring home Harrison. Rickard's throw cut off, and it's 3-0 Buccos.
You don't have to hit the ball hard to score. Dump a couple balls and gaps. Yeah, gap shots, right? Right center and left center.
Just keep the line moving.
And actually, Gonzalez is kind of fortunate that ball wasn't going a lot further, because it was just far enough in where Jordy couldn't get all of it.
Four hits and a hit batter through the first 8. And now Jeff Locke.
See if he knows the signs. He does.
Takes up high for ball 1. I liked your follow through in your delivery. We saw a minute ago.
You did. You did.
About as loud as one could get when it comes to a delivery.
Well, when you weigh about 170 pounds, you got to get everything into it. And as we said, the details before and after you deliver the pitch, it doesn't matter really. Those are secondary. If you can release the pitch properly, Bob Gibson did that.
That's
Jim
right.
Bunning did that.
Falling off, yeah.
They were pretty decent. Nellie Briles did that.
And a lot of guys today do that too.
I remember trying to clean that all up once, and I looked really nice with my delivery, but I was getting my face ripped off. So I went back to throwing it hard and then flopping around. Perfect.
Tollison way in at third, but still executed nicely.
So far, a very nice afternoon for Jeff Locke. Tidy with his pitching and a perfect bunt.
A couple double play balls behind him too.
See, this is how you deaden the ball. It's like that up the third baseline. Some guys will give with the bat a little bit. That one's just kind of some guys will do it with a loose grip. That was kind of probably a loose grip because you didn't go back. You just try to cradle the ball. Let the bat do its job.
Now John Jaso, Pirates leadoff hitter, and a strike. And how we're talking about the lineup too, we think about how they bat in order. Well, now if you're the leadoff hitter, you're also the guy that follows the number 9 hitter, whether it's the pitcher or a pinch hitter. You got to think of the lineup as a cycle in tight. And so I think that's part of what Clint Hurdle and the Pirates are doing when they have kind of constructed this lineup, which might be the opening day lineup, or at least something similar to this.
It'll be very similar, if not it.
And if the bottom of the order gets on, like in this case Harrison and Mercer did. Now Jaso and then McCutchen already, because he's the number 2 hitter, is on deck. So this pitcher is quickly in a heap of trouble again. with these top two guys in the order. Not a lot of time to relax. Yeah, you look in the on deck circle and you say, all right, good, I just faced the pitcher, and now you got Jaso and then McCutchen lurking.
Word with Gonzalez, and you just saw Andrew McCutchen got a nice line from Adam down in the truck before the game. The baseball looks as big as a grapefruit. Andrew here in the Grapefruit League. Thanks, Adam, for that. That was good.
5 home runs for McCutchen, and in 7 games too, including today.
Yeah, when you're hot, baseball does look nice and inviting. That's in play.
That's going to be close, and Davis
just barely out of play. Thought with the wind blowing toward left, that ball might be held in front of the dugout.
Came within a couple of inches of being able to catch that ball.
But not a reach-in foul like we're hearing about during March Madness.
Yeah, a rare kind of breezy day instead of a really windy day down here.
You're pretty particular, aren't you?
Yes.
Wind variance.
Yes. In wind variance and everything else, very particular.
Yeah, it is.
My wife would tell you that for sure.
It is better than it's been in terms of wind.
This one is going to stay in. Jaso is retired. Now you get McCutchen again. Hey, while we have a moment here, I just want to say our condolences to the family of Bob Kosicki, who is supposed to be at the game today, passing away unexpectedly. And our good friend Bill Donovan is going to join him at the game today from East Lyme, Connecticut. So wanted to pass along our condolences to the Kosicki family. Now McCutchen. Steve, you predicted it last time. What's he going to do here?
I think we're looking at another hook shot down in the left field corner. 2 for 3. I didn't hit on the chance for the catch in the Pirate dugout.
And now ahead in the count like he was last time, 2-0.
I need that curveball on the inside part of the plate here. Andrew going deep in that grandstand that was built when they built the boardwalk. All that.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful areas outside the home run fences.
And now ahead 3-0.
Got the curveball, but not even close.
Everybody's got McCutchen on their shirt today.
See a lot of that. You're going to see a ton of that in April up north.
We are getting close.
Yep, a week from Sunday.
Opening day, the first pitch of the baseball year in Pittsburgh against the Cardinals. 3-0 pitch. Let's see if this one stays up the line. It does. As McCutchen fouls out, Euclides Rojas joins us next. 3-0 Pirates. 3-0 Pirates on top. And a very special guest joining us here this afternoon. Please, Rojas, the bullpen coach of the Pirates. Hi, Yuki. How you doing?
Hi, how you doing, Joe?
Good, good. Thanks for coming on with us today. We're really glad to have you on.
My pleasure.
You know, I wanted to know if you caught any of the game yesterday with the Rays, since you guys had yesterday off.
Yeah, I was able to see a couple innings, 3 or 4 innings.
What was your reaction to that? We've been waiting for a long time to see that sort of action. We've seen a little bit, but it had to really get your attention.
Yeah, it was very nice to see the people in the stadium of Havana enjoying the game and enjoying everything what is going on over there.
Do you think we're going to see a lot more of that as we go forward?
I hope so, and I'm sure the Cuban people, they are hoping the same.
Euclides, before we talk about current things, but going way back, I always heard when I was a young player growing up about the unbelievable talent in Cuba that obviously couldn't get to the United States. That level of play during those really good years, was that major league play?
I would say yes.
Yeah, so many good players coming from Cuba now, and I can only imagine if we were able to do that years ago, it would have been great.
Yeah. There were a lot of good players that a couple of years ago in Cuba. They played in the national team. They were be able to play here.
Is that level of play still excellent?
I don't know, because I've been in the United States for 21 years, so I haven't been able to see the Cuban championship. So I really don't know, Steve.
You were the. Do I have that right? You're the all-time leader in appearances and saves, at least when you retired.
Yes, when I was in Cuba, I was, but I think the record was already broke.
So what was it like at that time? Because that's why I was curious. You played mostly in the 80s, early 90s there, and you know the different guys that probably could have played in Major League Baseball. A lot of your teammates and opponents, and yourself.
Yeah, there were a lot of good players at that moment in the Cuban national team. The third baseman Linares, shortstop Herman Mesa, second baseman Antonio Pacheco, that he's working with the Yankees organization now. First baseman Orestes Quindelan, left field Lourdes Gurriel, the father of the Gurriels, center field Victor Mesa, and right field Luis Girardo Casanova.
Now these players that you speak of right now, are these guys that you've kept in touch with through the years, teammates? Are some of them still in Cuba? Is that difficult? Tell us about what that relationship is like now that you've been in the States so long.
Well, I've been able to see some of them here when they come to the United States, down in Miami. I've been able to see a couple of them and talk to them, and always very nice to see your teammates that you played with them a long time ago.
Euclides, you worked out of the bullpen when you were pitching. How much has that helped you working with the Pittsburgh Pirate pitchers and all the pitchers you've worked with since you arrived in the United States?
It really helped me a lot because, as you know, Steve, is different in the bullpen. They warm up, the routines, and as a relief pitcher, everything is different. And I'm also very lucky that I had 2 good pitching coaches in Havana. One that initiated myself as a pitcher, Giovanni Gallegos, and the other one, Waldo Velo, that played professional in Mexico. And they teach me how to do everything in the bullpen, and that really helped me a lot.
Are there more details now? Do you have to keep charts and those kind of things?
Yes, I do it for myself and also for the pitchers and the bullpen. They ask a lot of questions. We got to be prepared. And also looking at the routines. When anything changes, a red flag for me as a bullpen coach, and also I let them know that at the right moment.
Now I'm new, and I'm curious, having seen a lot of these holdovers from last year and in years past. Now, this is a very, very talented bullpen, and that's a lot of it. But why are these guys so good, other than just their talent?
No, they're really talented, and they're really dedicated, and a real good bunch of guys. They take care of each other. They look out for each other, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a pleasure for me to be back there. Like I said, it's a really good group of guys, and we also have Roberto Andrade working with us back there, and he helped a lot too.
Do you work with a starting pitcher when he comes down, Euclides?
I work with Ray. Basically, I Ray right-hand man, and whatever Ray need me to do, I do it. I keep an eye on the starting pitchers, and when they throw side works and everything, we talk a lot. We stay after the games a lot of time in the stadium talking about the game and everything, how it went in the day. Ray is being real kind to ask me questions and allow me to help him.
You guys have known each other a long time, huh?
Yeah, we know each other since we were in the Marlins organizations a long time ago.
Now, who is the quickest guy to warm up? Who can you get ready the quickest?
That's going to be Jerry Hughes.
I'm not surprised. He looks like he's always ready to get going.
Yeah, I always tell him he was born ready.
Yes, and there's nobody faster into the mound when he starts that sprint.
No, nobody. He has a routine that he does it every day, and when he knows when the call can come to the bullpen and when he can get in, so he's expecting the call and waiting for it.
I'm glad we don't have bullpen cards anymore. We'll never get treated to Jared Hughes coming in a game.
Now, Euclides, guys have a pretty good idea when they're going to get called. They're watching the game. Do they have a feel? Okay, the phone could ring now. They almost sense it?
Yes, they know, and we take a shot back there in the bullpen every game. And I start the shot, and while the game is going on, some of them they start doing the shot, so they stay in the game in that way. And they know they're expecting the calls. They know what situation they can go in and everything. And like I say, they look up for each other and they take care of each other. And it's great to be back there with those guys.
It's not like the old days, is it, Euclides, when the guys in the bullpen would try to trade a baseball for a hot dog? They still do that a little bit?
No, they don't.
All business.
Yeah, all business.
Yeah.
We have fun, but a different way.
Yeah, I understand.
Double there by Joey Rickard. It's the Orioles on the board.
And Euclides, I would think you really have to study not only the numbers and what the guys throw, but you study personalities, don't you, down there?
Yes, I do, and that helped me a lot. I know when to push a button, and any guy, every one of them is different, and that's part of my job. If I want to be a good bullpen coach for them and for the team, I have to be able to study them, personalities and everything, and know their families and everything what's going on in their life.
I bet it's even more in spring training. The guys that are obviously going to be on the team, but some of the young players too. I would think it's good to get to know them because they might be here at some point. Yeah,
always good to talk to them, and that's what we do during the BP and during the PFP and spring training, and getting early to the clubhouse and sitting with them in the lockers, ask them questions, getting to know them, and let them know to you and let them trust you.
Dario Alvarez comes in a run on the bounce out. Yuki, I wanted to know, Alvarez was just batting, and he is from Camagüey, Cuba, and with him and a lot of the other guys that are playing today that have come over from Cuba, do you ever talk with them? Do they ever seek you out? Do you ever correspond with guys from other teams that grew up in Cuba?
Yes, sometimes I do when I have time to do it. I can say the Spain, the guy that's pitching for Orioles organization, used to pitch with the Padres in San Diego. His father and me, we are real good friends.
Oh, wow.
He was the setup man, and I was the closer of the team. And my wife, we were so close, and my wife was on the room of the hospital when his mom was about to have him.
Oh, wow. So that talk about some deep connections there. That's got to be fun to see, your old teammate and his son playing, and you're both here in the States and get to enjoy it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun when I saw him in San Diego, and when I saw his father. He's living in Spain, and he came from Spain here to the States. And 2 years ago, he was in Pittsburgh with us, and he visited us, and we had a real good time together.
Well, really fun stuff, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more from you as we go along. Thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Steve, and always a pleasure.
It is a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Orioles get 3-2 Buccos on top. Pirates spring training baseball brought to you by McDonald's. Broncos on top 3-2.
Glad we had a chance to talk to Euclides Rojas. He is one of the really neat people that you're going to run across. Has a great love for this game of baseball. Totally committed to it in general, and the Pirates in particular. A gentleman. It's good for you to know that name if you're a Pirates fan. He's a quality person.
I'm looking forward to getting to know him too more. And a guy who, and I don't know, as David Freese is batting here in the third, but I haven't really talked with him a whole lot yet. But you know, for anybody to flee Cuba
and in a boat with his family, and that's one of those stories that you hear. He is in that category. That was part of his history. That is part of his history.
You know, I'm just curious about his thoughts on everything that happened yesterday. The Rays playing Cuban national team in Havana, and at a stadium that he's very familiar with, Estadio. And on the first for the out is Freese bounces out. Latino Americano, which is where it was played yesterday. But did you see any of that? Did you catch any of the highlights of that? I thought it was really fascinating how you have a sitting U.S. president down in Cuba for the first time since Coolidge, and but it was just about the game of baseball. Yep. You know,
I thought it was great. You know, I have memories going back to the missile crisis. I think it was '62. I was in the Instruction League in Arizona, and just you know, you're sitting, you don't know what's going to happen, and you know, that close to home, and it was up there for grabs, it seemed like, and we didn't know which way the thing was all going to turn. That close, well, that close, you can think it's that close. You know it's that close when they try to get to the Florida coast in rafts.
Yeah, and 90 miles,
and not everybody made it.
And for Marte, gets underneath it. And a Rickard records the second out. And you can check out the new Pirates Spring Pass for the low price of $99. You can get ticket access to 23 games in April and May, excluding opening day. You pick the games you want, and the tickets delivered directly to your MLB.com ballpark app. Visit pirates.com/spring pass for details. That is a deep. Cervelli.
Some Blanco t-shirts too.
Yeah. Cervelli in there with a double his first time around, bringing in one of those 2 runs in the first. Miguel Gonzalez delivers a strike. Yeah, with that talking about the situation in Cuba in the past, it's fascinating because you know, in Cuba, just before you started playing, they had a top farm club in Havana, the Sugar Kings. Yeah. Cervelli now 2 for 2 today.
And I talked to people who played in that league. They said it was the best town in the league to visit. They said it was a lot of fun. Tony Barterum, our trainer, was on a team that played on the road trips in Havana. It was pretty wild.
When the International League truly was international.
Yeah, exactly.
Triple A league. Imagine that. Are they in line, or? Because that's what I would do. I'd always get mine and then go right back in line, and then that never be dry. Here's Polanco, and Cervelli's picked off. Good move from Gonzalez.
Francisco, he won't survive too many rundowns, and they got him.
Through 3, 3-2 Pirates.
Pirates Spring Training Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the brand new all-wheel drive Toyota RAV4 Drive Hybrid. There's so much to discover with just one tank. And by UPMC, life-changing medicine. Let's go Bucks!
On our UPMC scoreboard, the Pirates have a 3-2 lead here in Bradenton.
Yeah, we need to talk about the starting rotation. We talked about Jeff Locke getting the opportunity to start this afternoon, but you know, every spring training has a story. This year's Pirate story has been Juan Nicasio. He has been spectacular. He has not given up a run in 15 innings, has struck out 24. So that creates the situation that has gotten so much attention with the bottom part of the rotation. We know the top three, Cole, Liriano, Nice, and came into spring training to open up with Vogelsong and Locke, but Nicasio has just come out of the woodwork, and he's not just a reliever that's bounced around. He's had 70 major league starts.
Caleb Joseph with a base hit to start the fourth. And speaking of the rotation, Garrett Cole also worked today in the backfields here at McKechnie, and he's continuing his progress after being sidelined earlier in the spring.
And I have not heard one bit of concern about him. So when you win 19 games and nobody's particularly concerned about any lingering rib inflammation or whatever it was, I like that. He's the man. He's the stud.
And should be in the first week of the season. Right now slated to pitch somewhere in that first turn in the rotation, but not on opening day because won't quite be stretched out in time. Nolan Reimold fouls it off.
There's another subject that came in when I was talking to Jeff before the game. He said, I'm trying to find a way to get more swings and misses, and I can feel like I can do that by being more similar with all my mechanics on the different pitches. So he said, I watch Liriano a lot, and he says he seems to be the same with whatever he's throwing, the same, and that adds deception, and that's when you get swings and misses. Jeff wants to be better at that, so looking to slow the curve down a little bit, be more the same in his delivery on all the pitches, and not a bad guy to watch as a left-hander when you watch Francisco Liriano. So that's good, because you want to continue to learn. If you're not a guy that just throws 100 miles an hour and throws it down the plate, you've got to continue to evolve and add and tweak and adjust things. So yeah, not only buying as a candidate for the rotation, but learning as you go along in that pursuit. He wants to be better in different areas. Separate the speed of his curveball. You saw a slower curveball up there to start. Now you can go to the power curve maybe later in the at-bat. Doug Drabeck was an expert with that. Put another double play. Can we do that, please?
You got your wish. Third one turned today. Time 4 to 6 to 3, and 3 times today Locke has allowed a base hit to lead off the inning and got 2. Reimold knew it.
And take a look. Now Jeff has given 5 hits, but I don't think he's been really knocked around. He said there have been, I think, at least 3 flares, little drop shots into the outfield. So you look beyond the numbers all the time. And with that in mind, keep in mind that Nicasio has been spectacular, but it is spring training. It doesn't necessarily translate into an automatic piece in the rotation. It might head in that direction. I don't know. But you take it with a grain of salt. You're very impressed with it. You've certainly opened some eyes.
Pena flies out to left, and Jeff Locke moving along.
Cleans it up nicely.
Got the lead, 3-2. A look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update, and earlier this week, Elias Diaz experiencing some discomfort in his right elbow.
As you can tell, he's throwing with his left hand whenever he touches a baseball. That's extreme caution.
Yeah, no throwing with that one so far, but shouldn't stop him from getting back to action soon. They're going to reevaluate him in about a week or so.
He is slated to be the #1 catcher in Indianapolis. Very much highly ranked prospect. Very much.
Taking care of that good arm as Polanco leads it off.
Yep. You want to take care of that good arm because it's good times 10.
Jared Hughes also on the shelf, at least for now. A little pain in his back after throwing a pitch in his last outing a week ago. So left lat muscle strain keeping Jared Hughes sidelined, at least for now. He is day to day, so could be back at any time.
Speaking of people that are hurting, if we have a moment, Diane DePasquale, a very valuable member of our organization, coordinator of baseball operations, undergoing some surgery up home in Allegheny General, and hope things are going well. Diane, hope you're doing okay, because if the Pirates want to win 98 games again, they need Diane in the lineup. Hope you're back in the starting lineup soon.
And speaking of starting lineups, I guess, Jung Ho Gong, who the Pirates are hoping to get back. And he's doing some of the running exercises now. Not quite planning on the bag or taking really sharp turns, but that one sharply turned around by Gregory Polanco, and there it goes, a home run.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is against the wind.
That one a soaring shot for Polanco. And the Pirates up 4-2.
That was impressive. The wind's blowing straight out to left field, and he just hit it through the wind.
First home run, first run batted in the exhibition.
Yeah, with apologies to Bob Seger, against the wind. Upstairs and gone.
Did that leave the stadium?
Yep.
Wow. It hit on the roof behind the boardwalk.
Wow.
Polanco putting on quite the show.
Yeah, his first home run, his first RBI. That's the way to break the ice. Wow.
Harrison pops foul.
Just great to see that from a guy like Polanco or Marte. They're still growing. They're still learning a lot as they go along. But every once in a while you get that flash of lightning of what they're capable of doing. Polanco just showing you, yeah, he's got that kind of power. I mean, he just lit that thing up. I'd have been proud to throw that.
Nice easy left-handed swing. Harrison still down 0-2.
You got it too.
Fly ball to right. Ariel Alvarez retires it.
You get an idea for Miguel Gonzalez why you might struggle. He has not thrown many ground balls. A lot of action up in the air. So he's elevating the ball, getting it up higher than he wants. So he's not a power guy. He's thrown some good-looking curveballs, but many pitches upstairs, vulnerable.
Well, he's gotten 10 outs today. One was on a pickoff, one was on a sacrifice, and all but one of the rest was in the air.
Yeah, and that's a strike too, but it's a bad strike. That's a high curve ball. It can be hit a long way. There's strikes and then there's quality strikes. Again, upstairs, again a strike. And Jordy Mercer saying, boy, what was I waiting for on both those deliveries?
Mercer a run batted in on a single back in the second.
That one upstairs too, but in a better spot, up and in on the handle. Won 10 games a couple different years for Baltimore. Gonzalez.
Yeah, he's been part of the rotation for some time now.
Yep. 39 major league wins. That's credibility.
Starting to move up the ranks.
There's a better curveball.
You know what? We were talking, Steve, before the game about there's a note in the Orioles notes about Gonzalez, how he is in the top 20 among Mexican-born pitchers in strikeouts. That's a little convoluted, right? But number 19 is a guy that Pirate fans know from the 79 team, Enrique Romo.
Yep, he's on the list. He's from Mexico, but nobody knows exactly where he is these days. There have been attempts to locate him. Yep.
Couldn't
Enrique, part of that championship team.
Yeah, against these Orioles. Crack bat. Belanger.
Belanger over to Big Boog Powell.
No, that's Paul Yanish.
It was not much fun to face Mr. Big Boog Powell.
Hey, Buck Night presented by Sugardale coming up on April 5th when the Pirates play the Cardinals. And you can lock in $1 tickets when you purchase any Monday through Friday Pirates ticket at full price. $1 fountain drinks and food items also available, and a special only valid through March 27th in limited quantities. Visit pirates.com/bucknight. Here's Jeff Locke getting the chance to swing away. Did you like batting in spring training?
I like batting all the time because every pitcher thinks they can hit. Every position pitcher, or every position player thinks they have a great curveball. I just missed that ball.
Locke retired, and after the leadoff home run by Gregory Polanco, Pirates boast a 4-2 lead.
Spring Training Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by McDonald's All Day Breakfast. Breakfast has been liberated. By Bordas & Bordas, official legal partner of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Visit BordasLaw.com. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Fifth inning coming up from McKechnie Field. And the Pirates on a 4-2 lead. Very glad you're with us here on this Wednesday afternoon. Just enjoying some baseball in Florida. Doesn't get better than this.
Nope, does not. I want to send along special birthday wishes. Happy birthday to Big Bill Nicholson from Cambridge, Ohio. Number 74 for Big Bill.
Cambridge, Ohio. Been there before.
My son's father-in-law married a girl from Cambridge. Just did. Happy birthday, Bill.
It's Paul Yanish, former Red. Makes it his first time. Looking forward to getting some more familiarity with the area. Eastern Ohio and West Virginia, parts of Maryland. I haven't been in Maryland in a long time.
I can tell you about all the golf courses if you want. So
Sure.
sit down and talk about that.
Yeah. One caught a little bit of Bill Welke.
Played umpire. Francisco Cervelli having a moment with him.
Even the umpires in spring training, you don't want to get them hurt. And a lot of times umpires, we don't think about it very often, but when they can get injured and they have to be on the disabled list sometimes too. So,
and that is a very tight fraternity. These guys work together. They care about each other more than you know.
And they're tough.
And they don't have any home games. They're always on the road.
You know, that's a great point. You know,
6 months of travel for the most part. They get a little break, I guess. They get a vacation week or a series,
and now they get to occasionally work out of the offices in New York. And in the replay center there. Have you been able to check that out yet?
In New York? No.
Let's do that this year. We should go. I went last year for the first time.
I don't travel.
Well, let's go next year anyway.
No, I don't want to go to New York. I don't like New York. I don't like the Mets.
Here's the pitch. Tap foul.
Well, now you get the umpire hurt and the batter bangs that ball off his foot. Francisco Cervelli, be on your toes. Things happen in threes.
Next one's coming right back here.
That's your prediction for the day? Okay.
I haven't been nearly as good as you.
Well, I got off to a good start, but it's sluggish since.
Jeff Locke's had 3 double plays turned behind him, and I think you've been on all 3.
Jeff Locke, 28 years old, out of North Conway, New Hampshire. 6 foot, 195 pounds. This will be his 5th major league season. Great start to the 2013 season that got him an all-star selection.
Still lives in New Hampshire.
Yep. Ouch.
One hit well to left. And that one leaving the ballpark. Oh, Yanish. And that pulls the Orioles within 1. Well, you're talking, Steve, about command and how it's so important for a pitcher like Locke, who doesn't throw overpoweringly.
Got to keep out of that hitting zone as much as possible. Take a look. They want it inside, and it doesn't get in there. Stays upstairs. You saw Francisco sitting up on the inside corner where Jeff likes to work and works well, but you got to get it in there.
There's Ryan Flaherty.
So he's had a lot of leadoff action just about every inning, but the 3 double plays have straightened those out.
Every leadoff man has reached for Baltimore today.
But Yanish didn't stop at first base.
A swing and miss on that fastball. How many times do you think, as a pitcher, at least in your experience, when you're trying to throw to a location that you pretty much get it where you want to go?
Percentage of the time?
Yeah, maybe roughly.
I would say you hope for 70.
That's about it. Wow. So I mean,
yeah, it's tough. I
3
mean,
out of 10 times you're making a mistake, so to speak.
Well, you're not throwing it exactly. You know, it's a gray area as to how far away, what that makes it a success or not.
Nice 4-seamer there from Locke.
His 3rd.
That's exactly where he wanted to put it.
Watch Cervelli inside, right there. Almost looked like a little bit of a cutter under the hands.
Playing catch. This is Steve Tollison.
I think more than exactly in the neighborhood. You know, you're off an inch or 2.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. You know, that plate's only so wide. You don't want to be more than 2 or 3 inches away from where you want to throw it as often as possible. And now Bill Welke takes another shot, and he's hurting this time. But
you could hear that up here.
Like a standing 8 count, but back on the knee.
And the umpires wear a chest protector underneath their shirts. but that didn't hit him in the chest, and so they have less protection than the catchers do.
Yeah, he might be talking a little bit of a higher voice right now.
Tough situation whenever you get into that. Milwaukee, who's been an umpire since 1999 out of Western Michigan. This may be one of his toughest days ever behind the plate. Toughest inning for sure.
When you have the same thing happen twice, you think of a batter when he fouls the ball off his foot, and the next at bat he fouls it off the same place. It's bad enough the first time. The second time it's awful.
I don't think umpires get enough credit unless they make the wrong call. Then they
well,
don't deserve
their objective has always been to be anonymous.
Right. The best umpires are the ones you never hear about. Bill Welke's been doing this a long time now. And he's going to stay in, looks like. And his brethren making sure he's all right too.
Well, Jeff Locke is the most hated man by the umpires right now. He's thrown a couple balls in the dirt that have created this situation for Bill. Throw your pitches a little higher.
Caught by Mercer.
That ball was tattooed.
And 2 gone. And Jeff Locke, who has this has kind of been what we've seen from Jeff Locke. Some really good, and sometimes missing with his stuff.
Yeah, and the home run was a monster shot, but what do they got? 8 hits now, 7, however many they have. They haven't been beating him up, but they've fallen in.
Cervelli gets his mask knocked off, and the brain trust trying to evaluate Jeff Locke today. Rule 5 pick Joey Rickard flies out to right to end the inning. Leadoff home run by Paul Yanish. Lead cut to 1. 4-3. Facing Miguel Gonzalez today. John Jaso, the leadoff man in the lineup, leads off this inning. And then McCutchen and Freese to follow. Jason 0 for 2 today. Jason ahead in the count today for the first time, 2-0.
Been talking a lot about Jeff Locke tomorrow. Jonathan Neese will head down to Sarasota, scheduled to start against Baltimore.
He's in the rotation. Neil Huntington saying that those three are in, and then Locke and Vogelsong still likely in. Juan Nicasio, of course, as we talked about in the Open, has opened some eyes.
He's opened a lot of eyes, and the fact is, we told you he has Major League starting experience, but he's also worked out of Major League bullpen, so that could be a factor. You look, there's a pitch in for a strike. Okay, if we don't use so-and-so, is he a bullpen guy or is he just a starter? And sometimes that becomes one of the factors that determines down the road who's going to start and who might stay in a bullpen just so he's available.
Jaso draws the walk, and Robbie's got Garrett Cole.
All right, Joe. Garrett Cole wrapped up his throwing session today between 65, 70 pitches. Somewhere about there is where you threw. How are you feeling?
Good. I feel good. Got some good work in today. 4 ups. It was a nice day. So good work.
A week and a half between now and opening day. How are you in terms of progression and where you'd like to be versus where you currently are as we head towards it?
I think we're right on track. I've got 2 more outings after this before we head up to Pittsburgh. Everything's been going good.
What is it that you hope to accomplish between now and then?
Just continue to refine command, continue to build endurance, consistency, continue to get a feel for the game speed, and just try to get as settled out there as you can before you need to go compete.
Last year, Garrett, clearly the best year of your Major League Baseball career. How can you take that up a notch this year? What do you focus on in terms of where you'd like to improve?
I think you just got to stay hungry in general. I think there's a lot of areas that we can improve without being too nitpicky. But at the same time, this is a new season. Last year was last year, and you really don't know what you're going to get till you get out there and toe it up. So you're constantly just trying to come to the park and ask yourself, what can I do today to get better and better prepare myself for the next time I play. And I feel when you stay in that mindset, you have success. I mean, couldn't be more excited to play this year. This is the most important year of my career as far as I see it.
Garrett, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.
Right. Guys?
Our McDonald's player interview with Garrett Cole. John Jaso out trying to steal.
And Joe, that's exactly what you want to hear from your stud, for your number one pitcher. Calm, very much in control of what he's going to be doing. There's the swing and a miss to try to protect the base stealing attempt. Doesn't work that time. But that's exactly what you want from Garrett Cole. Not overly excited, but excited to find out if he can be better. Trying to do that without trying to be Superman. Now, he won 19 games last year. He doesn't come to camp saying, well, I can win 35 now. You want to be in that mode, because 19 is one heck of a year to do that. So yeah, you want to polish off some edges. You want to get yourself strong, and if you can improve on some little aspect, well, then you're doing exactly what you should be doing. So I liked what he said, and I liked the way he said it. Calm and assured delivery.
Yeah, not resting on one's laurels, not saying I don't need to improve at all, but knowing that last year was so very good.
Got a pitch count reached by Miguel Gonzalez, and he will depart.
4 2/3 for the Orioles starter today. And through 74 pitches for the Orioles today. Pirates, though, on top, 4-3.
Presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And here in the fifth, Pirates on top 4-3.
Darren O'Day going on to work for Baltimore. Folks enjoying this very pleasant Wednesday afternoon in Bradenton, Florida.
No doubt about it. Darren O'Day brought back to the Orioles. Very rich deal. And he has pitched very well. And David Freese with a swing and a miss.
O'Day's numbers is, take a look at his motion. That's not a quiet motion. It's very busy motion. Little sidearm, little deception. Set up and then drop down, way down.
David Freese rips one into the left field corner. On his way to second with a double.
He was on that pitch.
Looks like he's starting to get his timing going now.
Here's the delivery. And almost like David was looking inside with something moving down and in and just ran right into it. Really fine at bat. Buries it in the corner.
Now 13 at bats now for David Freese. Probably just starting to feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, you can work out all you want waiting to see who's going to sign you, but then it's time to get busy. Get yourself in shape for some live pitching, some major league pitching.
Starling Marte is flat out twice.
You know, I don't care who you are as a right-hand batter. You don't like to face this kind of stuff. It looks like he's going downstairs. He's going to try to throw the ball down the third baseline. You'd rather have somebody that's very true, could show you the ball, show you the motion. This is not that.
O'Day's been one of the most effective relievers in baseball the last 4 years.
Great year last year. ERA of 152 out of the bullpen.
Yeah, there's 4 guys with an ERA under 2 who've pitched each of the last 4 seasons with any regularity. Kimbrel, Aroldis Chapman, Uehara, and Darren O'Day. Almost clipped Marte.
Yeah, that's the problem. When he throws or shows you a breaking ball or something out of the way, your tendency is to go out there and find it, and you can't afford to do it against him. His delivery down from under, he can just eat you up inside if you're not careful. From this angle, this is a great look. He's going to come down. It's going to come from shortstop, and then yeah, he's going to show you that, and then he can eat you up inside.
And if he starts that in a little bit more, might even get you to chase on a ball like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really not luck when you're a reliever who keeps an ERA in that neighborhood, because all it takes is one bad outing to inflate your ERA with the minimal number of innings that you're going to wind up throwing out of the bullpen.
That's kind of what he was trying to do last pitch.
Yep. Your heart's in it, but your swing is not.
Yeah, he gave up 11 earned runs last year. First year as an all-star for Darren O'Day last year at age 32.
Okay, Teak, let it go.
Not slender enough.
No. And not as much as down under as the rubber band man.
You think about Kent Tekulve and what, 92 appearances, 90.
Yeah, but as Chuck Tanner said, he got paid for all the games. He only worked in 92 of them. 92 appearances.
These days, if you top 70, it's pretty big, and 80's almost unimaginable. And 90 plus, these aren't one-inning outings a lot of times for Tekulve. Marte.
Can it carry? Can it carry? Can it? Can it? Can it? Sure it can. Now His wind ate it, but it's still pretty.
Starling Marte sneaks one out.
Exit stage left.
Second of the spring. And the Pirates back on top now 6-3.
They talk about the pitcher's best friend being the double play. Batter's best friend is a strong wind straight out to left.
Rickard couldn't climb that high. Taller walls here at McKechnie than in most big league parks. Now Cervelli, who's 2 for 2. Also a couple of righty batters able to touch O'Day.
Yeah, Priest's ball was actually hit harder. That's all right.
Well, Marte doing what he's supposed to do in that cleanup spot.
Yep. Well, he got the ball upstairs to him. So he comes inside O'Day, getting in on Francisco. Start him off with a backdoor breaking ball, kind of a breaking ball that was at the body and curved into the inside corner. Picked it up.
Mark Melancon's going to be.
Speaking of guys that can come out of the bullpen effectively.
Oh yeah. I talked about that list of guys that, you know, the last 4 years, who's been most effective out of the pen. Cervelli down on strikes. Melancon certainly among them too. 2 more on the Marte home run. Baseball, we'll see what's in store for the upcoming season, including new additions, potential breakout players, and much more. And we'll break down this year's looming questions as we preview the Pirates 2016 season on Inside Pirates Baseball. 6 questions tonight at 6:30 right here on Root Sports. And to start the 6th, Danny Ortiz comes on for Andrew McCutchen.
No questions about Mr. McCutchen. He looks like he's got the club made.
That's reaching out on a limb.
Yep, Mr. Melancon with his 51 saves. Yep, he's got a good shot. Jeff Locke goes 5 innings, giving up 3 runs, 6 hits. He walked 1 batter and struck out 3. I thought he did what you expect most of the time from a Jeff Locke. I actually thought he pitched pretty well today. 57 pitches in 5 innings. I think that's good work. I think that's a good foundation. He was efficient. He walked 1 batter. Jeff, when he makes a mistake, will make a mistake. If he didn't get that ball up to Giannis, it's 5 innings with 2 runs. So I look at it as a positive outing for Jeff Locke.
An effective outing, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Keeping the ball club in the game. And yeah, in the regular year, you know, could pitch much further into the contest because of those 3 double play balls that he induced.
Yep. Melanson on to work. Pirates sitting on a 3-run lead.
And Melanson's been really sharp this spring. Every time he comes in, it seems like it's 1, 2, 3.
He seems to make a lot of appearances when the other team doesn't hit much. That's timing. Don't throw the ball in the dirt. Bill Welke doesn't need another ball in the dirt to get by Cervelli. Does not need that.
Now the home plate umpire's taking a few today. But still out there.
He'll get a complete game.
You know, a lot of Pirates fans are hoping to see another Alvarez today, but D'Ariel is the only one in there for Baltimore. Pedro hitting at 190.
Had a big day the other day with a grand slam,
Yeah.
5 ribbies, but just something like I heard 2 for 17 totally.
Now up for 4 out of 21 for Pedro. That's D'Ariel out of Cuba. Cervelli's doing everything he can to protect Bill Welke now.
Yeah.
And catchers generally do that. I mean, they know that they're more protected, more covered. Now, was it the American League umps used to have the big balloon?
Yep.
Right. The umpires used to wear the big chest protector on the outside of the shirts. Nice one from Melanson.
First batter he faces. Cervelli wants it away. Got the cutter away. Batter to go away. There we go.
That'll make everybody happy.
Yeah.
We're on TV. Let's
Yes.
go Pirates. Let's go.
Hope you're taping it.
Let's go. Let's go Pirates.
Oh, they can't hear us.
Let's go Pirates.
Yeah. They get it.
Chris Davis. Good inning for Melanson to come in. You know, a situation or late in the ball game, you know, the best home run hitter is up for the other team, a lefty batter. Fun to watch him neutralize lefties too as a right-handed pitcher.
Well, when he gets it right too, he can set him up where he gets that cutter in under the hands. You get a swing and a miss many times. And the key, like a lot of pitchers in most situations, get out in front and you get people to chase borderline pitches. And that's the situation you want to get into. You don't want them swinging at balls in the strike zone. Swinging at pitches are outside, inside, up, down, away from that hitting area. See where Francisco goes here. Just basically downstairs.
This is right into the shift. So 2 gone. And Pirates Spring Training Baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. You can stay connected all spring with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet. And I'll say this too, that if you're a subscriber like I am, now they've got the archives on there. So if you missed a game from earlier in the day, for instance, and go back and watch it, or past couple of games, or some of the great classic games, they got that all on there. The only thing they don't have is ice cream.
No, they don't, but he does. And he's got a pretty good grip on it too.
I would too if you were around.
Well, we've got sweet berries down here in Bradenton. It is different. It is so good. Hard to stay away. Part of spring training.
I'm loving it down here. Caleb Joseph takes one down low. They help you keep you in the best shape of your life, huh?
Oh, the ice cream, sweet berries, yeah. Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Wasting away to a mere ton.
Hey, you're a svelte guy.
Svelte.
Yeah. Right to Mercer. And Mark Melanson Ho-hum, just another 1-2-3 inning this spring.
I'll have a double scoop.
They have to take it from them first.
Pirates Spring Training Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All, and by Barrel Automotive. We'll beat anybody's price. Find out more at barrel.com. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 6th inning from Bradenton. And the Pirates own a 6-3 lead. McCutchen, Marte, Polanco all homering today. Letting everybody.
Hello, MP. Could that be Mount Pleasant?
Thank you very much.
Julio Bourbon is in center field. MP. I'm sure someone will tweet us and let us know. You can always tweet us. #BucksBooth. MP.
It'd just be something generic.
Yeah.
My Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And the Vanimal is coming on.
Friend Vance Worley. Good work for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Polanco homered his last time.
Boy, did he ever.
You know, Worley reminds me of, we've been talking today about Jeff Locke and the thought that maybe Nicasio either makes his way into the rotation or certainly into the bullpen.
Yep.
And Polanco might be.
Nope. Yep.
Off the wall that time. And he was watching it. He knew he had two no matter what.
That was a trick. I didn't know. I said, yes, it's out of here. No, it's not. It was in between. Off the fence. We got some loose material out there.
Yeah, Polanco broke the wall again.
He got it up in the air. Didn't have quite enough. It had a lot of carry. Normal fly ball under normal circumstances. But this day in this wind.
Nice day for Polanco. A home run and a double. Getting that extra base hit magic going today. Josh Harrison has a double of his own. It's a nice bunt. And a very good play by Steve Tollison to get him. Give him a sacrifice, moving Polanco to third. I'm looking at this lineup today, and this has been an impressive kind of sequence.
Putting 6 runs up on the board so far.
Well, the home runs help, but guys seem to be the right guys up at the right times for the right situations.
It's always been a case of not how many hits you get when you get them.
Jordy Mercer with the infield in. Orioles trying to keep it close.
We always say a chance for a cheap RBI. Well, RBIs never come cheap.
Mercer's already got one today. He might get something cheap here. Nope. Polanco coming on contact. 1-2 goes the force. Danny Ortiz, the hitter.
Little tapper back to Vance, and Polanco decides to go and then decides to stay up. I don't mind that. During the regular season, you wonder if you should slide or not, but when you're dead duck like that, don't get hurt. Back in the day when you could just run that catcher over when they used to play baseball.
Did you ever have a home plate collision? Maybe trying to cover the plate or anything like that? Yeah.
Well,
Who got you?
I can't remember, but
they must have gotten you good then.
Well, no, they didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a real collision. But the problem with a pitcher is many times you'll have your back toward the runner, and you feel pretty vulnerable.
Probably not the safest thing. Being in the department since I didn't play, safety first.
I got the look there. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to play to know the game. You know that.
Yeah. Well, but you know, I'm kind of glad that guys are not going to get run over without any. You know, the catcher's got all the padding. The base runner's the one that's most vulnerable in that situation, right?
Well, yeah, he doesn't have the protection, but
he's also running. He's got a full head of steam.
He's got the look. The catcher may be looking for the baseball, but I still think one of the enduring images that I have of baseball. And we'll talk about it when that ball comes down at some point.
Ortiz.
We'll talk about it later.
It's a
Maybe
rival.
we're going to talk about it at all.
Oh, leadoff double. Not much going on for the Buccos in the 6th.
Up the O's right now in the 7th inning as we see Tony Watson has entered a game. Now each winter, Tony Watson goes back to his native state of Iowa to spend time with family before coming to Florida where he lives to get ready for their season. Now this past winter he had a special surprise waiting for him. His high school retired his number. Number 4 will hang forever at Dallas Center Grimes High School in Grimes, Iowa. Watson went back and spoke of the impact the coaches and teachers had on him in high school, such as Byron Payton. His high school coach will also put a number 44 Watson jersey from the Pirates next to his number 4 from high school. Now, Joe and Steve, get this. Watson pitched a perfect game in his senior season of 2003 when he also set the ERA record for the entire state of Iowa. His ERA that year was a .10. He was a first-team All-State that year, went on the play at the University of Nebraska before the Buccos drafted him in the 9th round back in 2007. So great stuff from Tony Watson. High school number retired this winter. That's awesome, right?
That's great.
I want to know who got the run off him. They're probably in the big leagues now, too.
I want to know why he lasted until the 9th round.
Gosh, he's been about as good as it gets And you know, getting lefties, getting righties out.
Yeah, in a lot of ways too. He's one of those really neat people. Keeps it all in perspective. Knows what he wants to do. You talk to Ray Searage about Tony Watson, and if you tell him that you see Tony Watson looking calm, Ray says you have no idea what's going on in the boiler. He likes to compete.
Out of Dallas Center, Iowa. And he was quick to note Dallas Center and Grimes. Grimes is now a, as he puts it, a Des Moines suburb. Dallas Center still without a stoplight. So, I mean, a small town guy done good.
Yep. Good man. He has given up a little action the last 2 times out. He has not walked a batter in his 4 appearances. I want to make sure that I mentioned Mark Melanson, an easy, a quick, efficient inning. Has not walked a batter in his 6th appearance this afternoon.
Yeah, Melanson's had what, 2 base runners in 6 innings?
6 innings of work. 6 appearances, 2 base runners.
They're tuned up. You know, we talked with Euclides Rojas, bullpen coach, earlier in the broadcast, and you know, you think about the bullpen and how great it was last year. You could say the best bullpen in baseball last year, certainly one of them. And you know, when you get nowadays with starters going, you know, 5, 6, 7 innings, to have those 2 guys at the back end of the bullpen, it's almost automatic. Did not go.
You love working a game where you're playing 7 innings. If you can play 7-inning ball games, you're heading in the right direction. If you can get another lights out guy for maybe the 7th, then you're playing 6-inning ball games.
There's strike 3.
Back in the day, there were teams that had that. I remember the Reds with the Dibble and Charlton and Meyer.
They were nasty boys.
They were playing 6-inning ball games.
And they won a World Series that year in 1990.
That is called hitting the glove where they want it. Cervelli sitting in a rocking chair working with Melanson and Watson.
It's Paul Yanish who homered his last time. Yeah, the Pirates last year, when they had a lead after 7, 79-1. That's about as automatic as it can get.
And you need that to win 98 games.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's what it was. The off-speed pitch that wasn't given away. Same arm motion, same set of mechanics. Just able to pull the string. You get that swing just a little bit early out in front.
The pitch.
And then come back. You see Cervelli wanted that. He knew it had a chance to get a call. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah, he threw it pretty much where he wanted to. It might have missed by a fraction. But it's one of those 70%ers that I was talking about. And back out away.
And you know, even ahead in the count, the hitter ahead in the count, Watson still able to make his pitch.
Oh yeah, yep. And good pitchers, when it's a hitter's count, hitters ahead in the count, they don't have to give in, just throw fastballs. That's what makes you a major league pitcher. Once you get there and you have the ability to do that, you can survive.
Still 2-2 now on Yanish. You know, you talked about if the Pirates can have another guy to maybe bridge it into the 7th inning. You know, we talk about Nicasio. If he does end up in the bullpen, what a great guy who could float around and maybe pitch an inning, maybe pitch 3 innings, you know, maybe be a long man and do a lot of different things. Caminero with a great year. At times last year, really great and certainly effective.
Well, you know,
Neftali Feliz has been a rookie of the year and a great closer before.
Yep. And if Nicasio doesn't make the rotation, you got him in there, he can start in a minute. He's done that a good bit of his career.
Jared Hughes, of course, too.
He's in the building. He's in the city.
3-2, and Yanish having a nice day at the plate. 3 for 3 day for Paul Yanish. And the only phrase that's used more than spring training, best shape of your life, he's a triple shy of the cycle.
Yes, he is.
A baseball cliche to be sure, but a good day for Giannis.
Well, whenever you say that, the guy's done pretty well.
Now Ryan Flaherty. Pirates getting 3 home runs today. McCutcheon, Polanco, and Marte, the whole outfield. But you think about all that, the bullpen makeup, and guys are not going to be available every night. So, you know, if Melanson's down, Watson can step in. If Watson's down, maybe the Pirates will carry another lefty. Maybe they will not. But there will be some other, certainly righty arms that can fill that void and step in the later innings.
Mm-hmm. And there's always that mystery man, the starter who can give you 7. You go right to Watson and Melanson.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's when it gets good. By the way, just to finish up something from last inning, it's great to agree to disagree. One of my enduring images of a catcher taking a real shot and holding up a baseball and showing the umpire, hey, I still got it. I still, we all grew up with that kind of an image, and the world has changed, but that was always a pretty neat look.
There's no doubt about that. That's outside 2-1.
And you also have images of a shortstop coming across second base. If you want to take a shot at me, you're going to have to duck this baseball because it's coming right at your forehead. And so you can clean up a lot of that perimeter action on occasion and send a little message. So
I'm a little wistful when it comes to that stuff. Runner heads to third.
Thank you for the foul ball, because he was walking over there. Tony lost track of the man at second base. He's not perfect. A glitch for Tony Watson.
Spring training for everybody. I'll tell you what I will miss. Guys like when Buck Showalter would go and argue with the umpires.
No. We don't want that. We don't want that.
Strike 3 call. And Flaherty down on strikes. Nice inning for Tony Watson, preserving the Pirates' 6-3 lead. On our UPMC scoreboard, the Pirates on top, 6-3. And former Pirate Vance Worley in a second inning of relief.
Pitcher's fielding practice not needed on that one, as Worley was over there ready to cover, as he should be. It's interesting when you watch pitchers go over to cover first base, and you watch first baseman. There are times when they don't need to involve the pitcher, and I always applaud that, because the less times you put the ball up in the air, the more times there is to have something happen, and you're dealing with a person who's not an athlete. He's just a pitcher, and there's a difference.
You're saying you weren't an athlete?
No, as a pitcher.
Oh, okay.
As a pitcher.
Matt Joyce is going to pinch hit for Watson.
As he should.
Well, what we see the other day, we saw Eric O'Flaherty bat with the bases loaded in a game because they needed to have him come in.
Yeah, it was getting close to St. Paddy's Day too.
Yeah, you know. So Matt Joyce, who will probably be in a similar role if he makes the ball club. Part-time outfielder, pinch hitter. And he's ahead 3-0. Joyce in the spring with 5 hits. He's hitting at 200 with a home run. Hit another one on the backfields in an intra-squad game. Doesn't count in the Grapefruit League standings.
Got away with that one upstairs. Vance Worley, I've always liked the way he grips the ball. Looks like he's going to try to rip the skin off it. I mean, it looks like he's actually squeezing. Look at that. The glove is actually twitching.
Way up and in, and Joyce will draw the pinch hit walk. And this year's Pirates home run 5K and 10K presented by Allegheny Health Network and Highmark is coming up on Saturday, April 16th, and participants receiving a Tech t-shirt, ticket voucher good for a Pirates game. Families can join in the fun with the Chick-fil-A 1 Mile Family Fun Run. Register today at pirates.com/home run. David Freese with a nice afternoon. Scored a pair of runs. He's doubled. And Antoine Richardson will pinch run for Joyce. Native of the Bahamas. You know, you're talking about Worley a minute ago, Steve, about, last year we were talking about all throughout today with Locke starting about how the rotation is always, there's always a question mark. Even if guys are pretty much penciled in because you just don't know what's going to happen. And Worley was a great example of that. How he was last year, competing for a spot, couldn't get it, and then Charlie Morton goes down. He ends up being in the rotation.
Yep.
Freeze fouls it back.
There's a Vance Worley story, and it happened in this ballpark because I didn't know anything about Vance Worley. Several years ago, he was with the Phillies, coming up as a young pitcher. He worked a game here late in spring training with 6 of the most dominant innings I've ever seen. He just put the Pittsburgh Pirates away, and I said, "Who is that guy?" Every once in a while, somebody will catch your eye.
Richardson running. He's got a stolen base.
Always try to keep track of him. He struggled after that. Talking about Vance Worley, but there's the nice break. Going to get a high flyer toward the right field side. No chance to get the runner at second.
Antoine Richardson, who had been injured for most of spring training, had back surgery and slow to go with the foot. Part-time action in the big leagues, and a guy who has been a big-time base stealer in the minors throughout his career. Well, maybe the Pirates are thinking about him. Hey, you never know. Postseason or down the stretch or whenever. Tougher these days with the bigger bullpens, but sometimes you'd like to keep like the Royals have done in the postseason. Yeah. That Terrence Gore with the Royals.
Back in the day, I think it was Matt Alexander that did a lot of that for the Pirates.
On the 79 group, if I'm not mistaken. And David Freese will work a walk. A couple in a row issued by Worley.
I'll never forget seeing Matt Alexander running backwards to home plate. I wanted to get a baseball. Even though he's a Pirate, I wanted to get a baseball and throw it at him and hit him. I thought that was awful.
Pedro Florimon is running for Freese. Why was he running backward?
Good question. Good question. to bring attention to himself. That's the answer to that.
Marte ends the budding threat. Through 7, Pirates lead it 6-3. From last season, October 3rd, A.J. Burnett taking the mound for the final time in his career. Struck out 9. Thanking family, friends, and all the faithful. Touching moment for A.J. Burnett.
Did a lot of good work for the Bucks.
Now that is a hat.
I love Kent Tekulve.
Now that was a popular T-shirt in 1979.
Still love the rubber band man. He's shown a lot of heart, hasn't he?
I remember watching the 79 World Series video the other day, and there was a woman wearing a T-shirt with that same slogan on it.
They say Teak has shown a lot of heart. His heart transplant, just basically extending his life. He said it gave him a chance to see a grandchild.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The Kent Tekulve story is a great story. It really is.
One of my favorite players to watch growing up, and I am by no means alone in that.
A lot of great work.
Looking forward to working with him.
Yep.
Be out of uniform and back in studio.
A little pregame, a little postgame.
We'll have him on Saturday. We'll have a pregame and postgame show for you here on Root Sports. Oh, now that's a sweet shirt.
There it is. Yeah.
I like that one.
That's got it.
Corey Lupke on to work. Look at that. Got the Stargell Stars on there. Which I'm sad to report that baseball has, as far as I know, not granted an exception to the Pirates' long-standing rule where players can't put anything on their hats. But as Jason Rogers comes in the game at third. But
what's that on the side of his hat?
Well, that came with it.
That's, and it is Florida. Promoting spring training in Florida.
And yeah, the Postal Service abbreviations for each state.
Yep.
Also noted there. So Corey Lupke with a strikeout.
Former San Diego Padre. Did some starting for them back in 2011. Did 17 starts.
Talk about a story of perseverance.
Is this the double Tommy John transplant? Is it back-to-back years?
Yes.
That is
in May of 12 and then again in February of 14.
That is stunning.
Julio Bourbon. And quickly 2 gone. A little hamstring issue sidelined Lukey here in spring training, but now 4 years after his last big league outing, he is bidding for a shot, be a second lefty in the Pirates bullpen.
And this is an ongoing thing with Neil Huntington and the organization. Find these guys that might have the possibility of coming back, like a Lupke, like a Nicasio, emerging from where they were. Not that they were awful, but coming on and maybe kind of reinventing themselves. Daniel Bard. So we seem to have a penchant for accumulating those kind of guys, and you're going to find, if you continue that, somebody's going to break through. Somebody's going to figure it out or get healthy, and then you've gotten something that really is worthwhile.
Ariel
and it
Alvarez.
doesn't cost you a lot to do it.
Yeah, Lupke in camp in a minor league contract after signing a contract extension with the Padres, but they could not get him healthy to the pitch the last 3.5 seasons. And not only the 2 Tommy John surgeries, he had another surgery on his forearm. Then he had a staph infection. He couldn't even pitch at all or do anything until January of this year. So he finally felt like he could appear in spring training with the club.
Bionic man.
Two. Looks like he'll have a 1-2-3 inning. Okay, so doing a nice job over there at first base this spring training as well.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by McDonald's All-Day Breakfast. Breakfast has been liberated. By Kenny Ross, just ask a neighbor. And by UPMC, life-changing medicine. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 8th inning. Pirates on top 6-3. And Zach Britton on for Baltimore. And we're going to be seeing the pillbox hats every home Sunday this year. Pirates will be using those as their retro caps. I'm looking forward to a little bit of fun honoring that 79 bunch.
They were a good bunch. They had 34 separate uniform combinations.
Is that right? That many? I don't know how many of these days would be considered stylish, but they were certainly.
You certainly don't see the home whites and the road grays the way you used to. One of the best here. 36 saves last year, 37 the year before. Out of Panama City, Florida.
spring break destination. Many of our audience today,
well,
our younger audience, not in school.
They're not happy
Easter
about.
week.
They're not happy about the spring training situation up there anymore. They really tightened up a lot of the drinking laws.
Is that right?
Yeah, they did. And
well, that guy would.
Sales are down 40%. Yep.
He's got his water instead. See, you're right. There's our spring break partiers who have decided to come to Bradenton instead.
Instead of Panama City. Business is down.
Yeah. Out of school today. Take a break from school. Cervelli. First out in the Pirates' 8th inning. And the Penguins continue their push for the playoffs and look to win their 7th straight tomorrow as they'll host the New Jersey Devils. And our coverage begins at 6:30 with Penguins pregame, presented by Heritage Valley Health System, right here on Root Sports.
Good luck to the Penguins. Yeah, getting hot at the right time.
Down to the wire now in the NHL season. Just getting going here in the baseball year. Gregory Polanco with a big day. Home run, a double.
There, get some stars with stars there.
That's like the Chuck Tanner edition. Just the two. How come he didn't get more stars? I guess he didn't want them. There's a strike.
Chuck?
Just had the two, I think, right? One on either side.
Yep. I think some of the guys had so many. It looked like the Ohio State Buckeyes football team.
Buckeye.
Yeah.
Now that one, he hadn't earned anything yet. How'd you like him turning his hat around backward like that, Steve? I think that looks pretty cool.
I know you do. And I don't think it does. You got to respect the Major League Baseball cap.
Well, we wouldn't be able to see it then. If he's faced the other way, then our cameraman wouldn't be able to see it.
Well, if our guys are good enough, they can find those guys.
No.
They can find it. Turn that hat around. Come on.
Hippie. Two and two on Polanco.
Good down.
Nice play by L.J. Hose. Hose down to make the catch. And Polanco has stung the ball often today. And some sad news to report. Just getting word that one of my favorite broadcasters, a former Pirate player, Joe Garagiola, has passed away.
One of the great people in our game, really. Yeah. Joe did so many things. Played the game, broadcast the game, promoted the game. Joe Garagiola is just, yeah, he's one of those guys that the minute you see that name, you recognize baseball. A good man and great man in baseball. Sorry to hear that news. Nobody goes on forever, but it's always a shock. It's never good. Joe Garagiola was so good to so many people and so good to our game.
What do you remember about being around Joe?
Well, I didn't know him personally a lot. He was older than I was, but he broadcast the 71 series with Sandy Koufax, and it was just great to talk to him. Yeah, we did a couple interviews in him before the latter stages of that World Series, and it was a treat. He was upbeat. He was funny. He knew the game of baseball. That gave me a chance to see and talk to a guy I'd heard so much about, and it was a treat. So many people knew him a heck of a lot better than I did, but I'm glad I had a chance to cross paths with him.
Yeah, a catcher by trade, spent 3 years with the Pirates in the early 50s, but everybody pretty much knows him for
his humor.
And knowledge of the game. You said it. I mean, I grew up watching back when baseball was kind of hard to find on television. You know, the Game of the Week with Vin Scully. I mean, I thought, you know, that group was as good as any group that's ever been on television, and taught me the game when I was a little boy. You know, taught me the game of baseball. Joe Garagiola. Josh Harrison will be retired. We'll be thinking of the Garagiola family. Joe Garagiola passing away today. We'll go to the ninth. It's 6-3 Buccos. Top 6-3 as we head to the ninth. Pirates spring training presented by McDonald's, and that continues this weekend as the Bucs will host the Tampa Bay Rays here at McKechnie Field. Part of our extensive spring training coverage here on Root Sports. All the action on Saturday starting at 5:30 with Pirates pregame. Join us right here on Root Sports for the Rays and the Pirates.
Okay, Joe Block, you've been around almost a month now with the Pittsburgh Pirates spring training. What's your initial impressions of the team, the organization, the format, the approach?
I think I have more of an opinion on the organization. The team, you know, it's spring training. Sure. You get a feel as Corey Lupke begins his second inning. But what I've been most impressed with, you know, because I'd been around but didn't really know inside, you know, being from the division, is that everybody is so sharp. And I mean this sincerely. Everybody very, very sharp. Everybody's intentional in what they do. And everyone has a good time. So they're not only doing their job well, or at least trying to, but being good people and having a lot of fun while doing it. And I include this broadcast group because I've felt like I fit in right away. And Clint Hurdle and his bunch, very, very impressed with the baseball operations side and the way he and the coaches run things with the players.
Well, good stuff. We enjoy having you. It's good. The more we work together, and we're going to finish off my time down here with 5 games in a row, you and I, which is fine.
And we'll finish off something too, I'm sure, every now and then.
Well, yeah, on occasion. Yeah,
maybe a dessert.
But it's good to have you. It's great to have you here.
Yeah. 2-2 now on Chris Davis.
Yep, we're going to be down in Fort Myers Friday night, and we'll be back on television Sunday afternoon.
I like working with you. Well,
stay tuned. Just early impressions. But it's been fun.
I think that's the name of the game. And I think when I got the call to be able to come here, my approach has been, let's have fun. This is a baseball game. Let's learn together. Let's try to teach the game. I try to ask you questions so I learn, the audience learns. But have fun.
Yep. So far, so good.
Yeah, we do that. And some games we have to be more creative than others, but hopefully very few of those this year, like we've seen in past years.
This has been fun this afternoon to do this. There's been stuff to talk about. Unlike the last game we did on radio, it was a tough one.
There's a base hit for Chris Davis. So left on left. Davis, who asked to be in the lineup today to face Jeff Locke, the lefty, stays in there for a 4th at bat, so he gets another chance. And now Alex Leedy will come in and pinch run for him. And you know what it's all about too, Steve, is that right there. You know, young people enjoying the game.
Well, for 20 years during that streak we had, we didn't see too many young people. People missed a couple decades, but the kids are back, and that's the great thing. It's how you pass on the tradition. And, yeah, it has to happen, or else it dies. So now you got moms and dads bringing the sons and daughters and grandchildren. It's
and enjoying the experience of baseball. You know,
and enjoying our ballpark and our ballpark as well as the ball team. There's a lot of youngsters are first exposed, but first of all, they're having a great time at the ballpark, and they're being exposed to baseball. So it sometimes goes both ways. The baseball is exposing them to a good time, or in reverse. They can just be there, and all of a sudden they realize, hey, this is fun to watch.
Christian Walker. And that one gets past Polanco.
Looked like a whiff.
Leedy will get all the way to third. And Harrison was ready in case he tried to score.
And that ball looked like it was trying to slice back to Gregory Polanco, but he's explaining why he missed it. Maybe just didn't quite get to it. Maybe didn't slice back far enough. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. In the month of March, probably get closer looks when the season starts. But the Orioles are in business, so you stop it right here and you don't let the tying run get on the base paths.
A good test for Lukey. Some good seats for that youngster.
Thought for a minute that it was my grandson, but he wouldn't get those kind of seats. He's here in the ballpark somewhere.
LJ Hose takes inside. You got a lot of family coming to the games all the time?
Well, yeah, I got them all here. Grandson and 2 grandsons, mom and dad, are here today.
Where else would you want to be?
Yeah. Plus, when they're down here, the grandparents give them everything they want. So nobody says no to them down here. Activity.
Rob Scahill getting up. Guido Knutson also is in there. A couple of right-handers.
Real clean and easy. 1, 2, 3, 3 up, 3 down. 8th inning for Lupke, but quickly. Issues here in the 9th.
Now 3-1 on Hose. Well, if Lupke is to make the roster, he's going to have to pitch multiple inning outings at times.
And when you're trying to make a club and you're on the outside looking in, you can't afford too many bad outings. Many times you've got to run the table all of March. Just got to go out there and be good each time. That's tough to do. It is very tough to do.
And a good pitch. Making it full on Hose.
Be a nice spot for a triple play. Lacking that, maybe a nice spot for a strikeout.
Lupke made his spring debut on Thursday, so he's trying to make up for lost time as well. 2 in scoring position.
There's the frustrating part. You work your way back into a 3-2 count, and then you throw a real good pitch, and it gets fouled off. So rinse and repeat.
Yeah, 4-pitch pitcher as a starter. Let's see what he throws on another 3-2. This will get a run home.
And make this deal.
So give Hose A run batted in. Walker will stay put at second. Lead cut to 2. Jaso making a nice stretch over at first base. And I'll tell you what, a moment for Jaso there. You know, he has been really quiet over there at first base because, you know, after I think the first game over there, he's played a nice first base, hasn't he?
Well, you want it to be quiet. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So far, so good. He's not the biggest guy, so he doesn't have the wingspan some people have.
That was a big question mark coming into the spring. You know, Jaso, who had not played first base really at all, converted catcher, converted DH, so to speak. But he's worked really hard to get decent over at first base. So far in the games, at least I've seen, you could say he's been a decent first baseman.
And it's not just about the wingspan. There's a lot of footwork involved, a lot of decisions to make, whether you want to go for plays the second baseman might be making. You got cutoffs and relays, bunt plays.
André Perez, a former Cardinal.
But with saying that, we're talking about being busy at first base. Well, how busy is it for a catcher? That's pretty busy too. So he's used to being busy.
If Lupke can get Perez here, and I don't know what his pitch count is. He's into the 30s now. This may be his last batter. You can vote this relative success.
Good drive on the outside part of the plate.
Here's his 33rd offering. And Perez spoils it. Luke Keys 1-2 again. A low. Luke overcoming so much to be here.
Easy young man to root for.
The last major league game was April 27th of 2012. It's Perez for his second strikeout.
He got a chance to clean up a mess that looked very threatening. But he has done his part to that point, and now he's going to be dismissed.
Well, that could play. The breaking pitch there, but 35 pitches for the day. So Corey Luque will depart. And the Pirates on top 6-4 with an out to go here in the ninth.
There's the opportunity for one of those one-out saves you were talking
Yeah.
about that Teague didn't get many of them. An inning, 2-3 innings.
Yeah, an opportunity. Trying to pin down the final out for Rob Scahill, who's got a shot at starting on opening day with the Buccos.
Good ERA.
Yeah, nice in the partial season with the Buccos last year.
You look at that decay in base on balls, you'd like to reduce that free pass number. But, every pitcher would reduce the walks.
And first pitch strike, Cedric Mullins. Cedric Mullins played his college ball for Campbell University. Wore the same colors in college. And now a strike away from a Pirate victory. Buck Showalter.
Trying to improve on their 81-81 season last year.
You can tell who's leading by their countenances. 1-2. A little flare that's going to drop in. And Walker will come in to score. Mullins will stretch it into 2. And the Orioles make this a one-run game. And now the tying run is in scoring position for Drew Dosh. That run will go on Luke Key's ledger. 2 runs in an inning and 2/3 today.
How about a sacrifice fly here?
Well, it might be more possible with the runner moving to third.
Not with 2 outs. But another wild pitch would not be what we're looking for either. The old saying, yeah, sure, hit a fly ball. Yeah, it would be a sacrifice fly, except there's 2 down. So let's get this thing done.
Our comments dripping with sarcasm. It's going to be a pass ball. Now Dosh ahead in the count, 2 balls to 2 strikes. Over from minor league camp, coming in from Sarasota today, out of Youngstown State. Former Penguin fouls it back. Gregory Polanco with a home run and a double today. Hit the ball hard 3 times. So far, his home run the difference. Harrison. And there's the ball game. 2 in the 9th for the Orioles. But Polanco and Marte, Andrew McCutchen also homering today, and Rob Scahill preserves the victory.
Hang on, Sloopy. We made it. Well, we got a lot of work done. I saw Pirate bats open up and put some good numbers on the board. And Jeff Locke, as that whole subject of the starting rotation continues to evolve, no resolution. Not that we expected one today, but I thought overall Jeff Locke pitched well in his 5 innings. On we go. So we'll see John Neese tomorrow against Baltimore.
And we'll see you here on Root Sports coming up next time against the Rays on Saturday. 6 o'clock start for that affair. And for Robbie Innsmikowski and for Steve Blass, Joe Block signing off from McKechnie Field. Pirates are the victors today, 6-5 over the Orioles.